A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Tonight we have a very special conversation lined up with Devic Earth, a sustainability-focused technology company specializing in advanced solutions for air pollution control. As an industry leader, the company serves both B2B and B2G sectors, catering to industries like chemicals, cement, thermal power, coal and mining both in India and internationally. Tonight on the show, I'll be catching up with Dr. Srikanth Sola, founder and CEO Devic Earth, to find out more about how the company has improved air quality for millions of people across the globe. Listen in. Dr. Srikanth, welcome to ET Now Leaders of Tomorrow. It's a pleasure to be having this chat with you.
Thank you.
So, from cardiologist to entrepreneur and innovator, tell me what inspired your journey to tackle air pollution and save lives, really?
Sure. You know, as a cardiologist, we love our patients. I mean, I really love my patients. And I moved to India from the United States because I wanted to come back and serve our country. And I joined Sathya Sai Hospital in Bangalore, and right away, I saw young people with heart disease due to air pollution. Things I had read about in my cardiology textbooks, I was actually seeing this. The first time this happened, it was a young fellow, 28 years old, shoe cobbler, repairing shoes and sandals on the street, came in with a heart attack. We did his emergency angioplasty operation, and he walked out of the hospital a couple of days later. He did so well.
Sure.
I patted myself on the back and said, this is why I came here. But 2 days later, the same thing happened. It was a taxi driver, 32 years of age, came in with a big heart attack. We also did his emergency angioplasty operation, but he died right on the operating table. And this was the human element of air pollution affecting my patients that I was seeing. Because I was doing a lot of biotechnology work in the United States, medical device work, I knew how to make technology. And so I spent all my free time, which is not much as a cardiologist, developing technology that would bring clean air to people at scale.
Fantastic. Now, before we get to understanding your business and the mechanisms, I actually want to ask you, what according to you are the primary contributors to the rising, global air pollution levels, and also how do they vary, across geographies, across countries? Is there a difference, in the urban and rural areas?
Across the world, we see that in developed countries, air pollution is getting worse. And it's a multifactorial thing. It's because of increasing industrial activity, increasing vehicle emissions. If you look around Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, it's increasing construction everywhere. There's all sorts of reasons, but these combine to create pollutants in the air that then stay in the air for a long time. We usually think that pollution is bad in urban areas, in the cities. But pollution doesn't respect boundaries. It moves along the wind. So pollution that comes from Pakistan goes into Punjab, which goes into Delhi, which goes all the way down the Indo-Gangetic Plain into the Bay of Bengal. So it's not an urban versus rural divide. It's not a poor versus rich divide, although the poor are more affected. It's a global phenomenon that's affecting our health, affecting our economy.
Absolutely, and just picking up from that point, because this is a business show, just elaborate for us how pollution impacts economic, productivity. Is there a direct correlation between the two?
Sure. Now imagine you're running a business, okay, and someone is secretly swiping away money from your accounts. How would you feel, right? But that's what air pollution does to our economy. There was a study by the Confederation of Indian Industry with Dahlberg Advisors and the Clean Air Fund, and they found that air pollution costs Indian businesses each year 7 lakh crore rupees. Now 7 lakh crore rupees, when I read that number, I was like, I don't even know how much money that is. But it turns out it's $95 billion. or about 3% of India's GDP every year. And this is due to direct things like healthcare, due to reduced productivity, lost days of work, some millions of days lost from work each year. It has a cascading effect that influences everything from how productive and efficient we are in our workplace to people falling sick from cancer, heart disease, lung disease, strokes, and other serious illnesses. About 1 in 6 deaths in India is due to air pollution.
Right. Now, just diving into Devic Earth, first of all, I love the name. I would like you to tell our viewers, what does it mean? What does it represent to you?
You know, Devic Earth, Devic means Devas, and so we're looking, or Mother Earth, we're looking at a name that represented Mother Earth, but in an Indian way. And what we're here to do is make clean air and clean technology accessible to everyone. You know, we don't want it to be like clean air tech that can only be afforded by the wealthy. We want it to be affordable by that taxi driver or that shoe cobbler that I told you about, something that can benefit everyone so that we all have clean air to breathe.
Right, absolutely. Now, you launched Pure Skies back in 2018. It is a groundbreaking technology, you know, that tackles ambient air pollution. But I also want to know, how has that evolved over the years, especially with the integration of AI, you know, artificial intelligence?
What we see, you know, we love our patients, like I said, as a cardiologist, and as a business, we love our customers. And we really take a lot of feedback from them. So we've had some installations in different parts of the world. One of our customers in Chile is a big mining customer. And they said, hey, we love your technology, but there's just one thing we need from you. I said, what? They said, you're giving us a 1-year warranty, but we're a mining company. You know, our trucks and our vehicles are like, you know, 2, 3, 4 stories tall, and they all last for 10, 15 years. Can you at least give us a 5-year warranty? I said, sure, why not? So what's happened is the technology is becoming more and more rugged, more and more heavy duty, and it's incorporating, just like any machine-based, software-based equipment, it's incorporating these type of new technologies, machine learning, AI, and other tools to be able to improve what it's already doing. And there's many generations that will come as we go along. The other thing that's really cool is that we've miniaturized the technology. And so by next year, we'll be launching a small device about the size of your car keychain that'll provide protection for you and your family members for about 8 to 10 meters. That's about the size of a 3 BHK apartment.
Right. And of course, that brings me to my next question. You know, with the ability to cover over 100 million square feet, Devic Earth also caters to industries, factories, and outdoor spaces. So could you elaborate on these operations?
Sure. You know, we realized long ago that everybody wants clean air. But why would companies really invest into cleaner technologies? It's basically because they need to improve their sustainability goals, their ESG goals. Sure. They want to improve the health of their employees. And very importantly, because air pollution laws around the world are getting tighter and tighter, they want to avoid regulatory fines, they want to avoid nuisance complaints, they want to avoid protests, they want to avoid plant shutdowns. And so a number of our customers have come to us saying, hey, we're under regulatory pressure, can you guys do something? We've tried everything, and it's true. It's not that they're lazy, it's just that the nature of their business generates pollution. In a mine, what choice do you have to, you know, you're digging the earth, you're going to create air pollution in that process. And so they're looking for solutions to help them work more sustainably, to work more ethically in terms of making sure that their communities and their employees are protected from poor air quality.
Right. You know, Dr. Srikanth, many of our viewers of Leaders of Tomorrow are MSMEs. And MSMEs, as you know, they form the backbone of India's economy, any economy, especially in India's manufacturing sector. They play a significant role. So I want to understand, how can they, especially those in the manufacturing sector, integrate Devic Earth into their operations?
Sure. You know, I've been to a number of industrial zones where MSMEs operate, especially for their plants and fabrication facilities. And what happens is, it's not fair to ask one single SME to say, hey, look, you need to spend this much money and to clean up here. Because what happens is there may be 100 plants in that industrial zone, and they're all contributing in different ways. Yeah. What makes the most sense is when these MSMEs gather together and they say, you know what, we are losing money because our air is not clean. And so let's do something about it, but let's do it together as a group, so that it's cost efficient and it makes sense for everybody.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. In conversation tonight with Dr. Srikanth Sola, founder and CEO of Devic Earth. So, Dr. Srikanth, tell us, how do you view sustainability? How does Devic Earth view sustainability?
Sustainability is at the heart and soul of good, strong companies. We know that companies that embrace sustainable practices, they have a better bottom line, they have higher profitability, they have better employee retention, and as a result, they're often perceived as, in terms of brand, compared to those that don't embrace sustainable.
Sure.
What's happened though in recent years, there's been some backlash because the pendulum has probably swung a little bit too far, and what we need is data, more data, to back up sustainability practices. Some things are a no-brainer. You know, putting in solar panels, you know that you're going to get a return on your investment in a couple of years. Fine.
Yeah.
Other things, they take more time, like maybe changing packaging to recycled materials. That's an increased cost, and the benefit is perhaps not as immediately tangible in a business sense. Having said that though, companies like Devic Earth can come in and show their customers, hey, it's not just our product. I can walk around a customer's plant or factory and say, you can also do this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And they're like, wow, that's really amazing. They never thought of this. And it helps them to implement sustainable practices because we've been all over the world and implement those best practices from around the world to bring down pollution for everyone, not just their plant, but for their entire community.
Sure. Air pollution is a complex issue, and like we were just discussing earlier, there couldn't have been a better time to be having this conversation because Delhi has been making headlines recently for its poor air quality. And while I feel like there is a growing awareness among people, among businesses, about air pollution, but there's still a hesitation to really adopt clean practices. Why do you think that is, that is the case, and what do you think needs to be done to encourage a wider shift, in mentality towards cleaner air?
There's been a lot of chatter on social media recently that we in India, we have actually normalized poor air quality as being normal. What that means is air quality is bad, but we say, well, that's just the normal state of things. That's just how things are, and we get numb to it or accustomed to it. I was in Brazil recently, and their air qualities are about 20% of what it is in Mumbai, and there's a whole hullabaloo about that because their air pollution levels exceed just this much WHO levels, whereas if we had that in Mumbai, we'd be like, hoo-ha, we'd be hooray. So we've normalized air quality, and we need to stop doing that. We need to demand clean air, just like we would want clean water, clean food, safety and security. These are things that we need. We can't have a healthy economy unless we have a healthy population.
So, Dr. Srikanth, can you talk to us about how the landscape of air pollution awareness has probably changed, how much people are taking to it, understanding it in 2025?
When we first started going to these air pollution meetings sponsored by state pollution control boards, it would be a couple of people in the conference hall, usually the seniors and then people like us. And then everybody else would be outside the hall looking at WhatsApp videos.
Yeah.
Now you go to these meetings and it's house full. It's people from the traffic police section, people from NGOs, the media, institutions like academic institutions, think tanks, they're all there because everyone cares about air pollution. I know I've said we've normalized air pollution, but people are actually working on it. It's just that we have to bring in science-based methods to improve air quality at scale, and then we also have to localize those solutions for the particular requirements of that location.
Absolutely, I agree. Let's talk about your expansion plans, international expansion plans for Devic Earth. What factors are you focusing on when expanding into global markets?
Sure. I always tell my team, we can do anything, but we can't do everything. And so what we've done is we've taken a really focused approach. Where do we do best? We do best in heavy industries, industries that really need to or want to improve their air quality for regulatory reasons, to de-risk their operations from fines, or to meet their ESG goals. And so we work with mines, thermal power plants, specialty chemicals, polluting agency, ports, for example, where there is a lot of regulatory pressure for them to operate cleanly. And that's good for the environment, it's
Sure.
good for public. And so we're looking at those countries. We're already in places like Brazil and Thailand and Chile. In fact, when we were in Chile, we have an installation going up in a township there. And when we presented to the town, it was in Spanish and English. They said to us in Spanish, which I understood, he says, they're from India. They really understand air pollution.
Absolutely. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah. Dr. Srikanth, you spoke about global markets. Are there specific plans for the India market that you can talk to us about?
You know, we're primarily a tech company. We're a bunch of tech geeks and nerds. We love technology, we love electronics, we love the hardware and the software and the AI part of it. What we've done is we realized that it's not possible for small companies to approach big companies. You know, it just doesn't work. So we've licensed our technology to a really amazing company called Swati Energy. They're actually an MNC, but they're based in Mumbai, and they've taken on the technology as the OEM for India. Now, what that allows us to do is focus on what we do really best, which is the tech part, and then have the marketing and sales done by teams who do that really well. And that's really taken a lot of pressure off us because we can just focus on the tech part, which is what we love to do.
And just picking up from what you said, you know, speaking on about technology, how do you view technology, you know, and the landscape here in India, you know, especially since you have worked in other markets as well? You know, where do you think we stand as a country when it comes to tech?
You know, the innovation that I see coming out of India is really amazing. Nobody can beat us when it comes to software. And I think we're getting there in terms of hardware as well. Our ESDM designers who work for us come up with amazing ideas. We said to them, yeah, you know, our customers are saying we want a 5-year warranty. Can you do that for us? They said, yeah. How about we make everything to military grade? I said, sure, why not? It'll last for 10 years. This is what we can do coming out of India. And we can do this innovation very frugally, which then allows it to come into the market at a much lower rate than what you might see if it came out of the United States or Europe, for example.
And are there any other innovations that you can talk to us about at Devic Earth or with Pure Skies that you're undertaking?
You know, we're really working on going the industry way. We're working on going the miniaturized way so that we have small devices that can either be sold directly to consumers or licensed out to other manufacturers to add as a value add to their products.
Sure.
And then we're really excited about our carbon capture. It's just too cool. And we are working on the scientific papers, the publications, the data, so that we can then demonstrate its utility to industries and to large buildings.
Right. So Devic Earth was set up in 2018, right? When you look back, how much of your original vision has been realized?
Our goal was always to serve that shoe cobbler, that taxi driver, and we've not strayed from that even 1 inch.
Right, fantastic. But coming to you, Dr. Srikanth, you know, you have a stellar academic and professional background, you know, spanning Stanford, Harvard, Cleveland Clinic. Tell me, how has your leadership style evolved over the years?
You know, when I was working at the Cleveland Clinic, I would work with these amazing heart surgeons, and I would send to them very complex cases. I had a reputation of treating rare diseases, and people would come from all over the world to me for these types of treatments. And when I would go to the operating theater to support the cardiac surgeons, there was a big sign right across the entrance. Earlier, before I got there, it used to read, "Through these doors pass the greatest cardiac surgeons in the world." Mm-hmm. But then the anesthesiologists and the nurses and we cardiologists got really in a huff, and so they changed it, and it says, "Through these doors pass the greatest cardiac surgery team in the world." And that's really how I feel that companies should be done. It's, you know, the Tatas have a saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go as a team. And that's what we do at Devic Earth. We work as a team, and we're constantly trying to build that teamship, that camaraderie, that working together, so that at the end of the day, our patients should be delighted, society should be benefited, and we should all have clean air.
Absolutely. And finally, Dr. Srikanth, tell me, how do you see Devic Earth and Pure Skies, you know, really contributing, you know, to a pollution-free future? What is your vision for the company?
You know, our technology platform is really amazing. Pulsed radio frequency energy is borrowed from medicine. It's been used in MRI for decades safely, and we found that it's good for air, which we've been doing for so long, but we're also working on carbon capture for climate change mitigation. And we're really excited about that. We think that we have a very low cost, small footprint technology that can help to decarbonize industries, but also decarbonize buildings for a very low cost. And this is what we're looking at. This is what I love about India. You know, we have such great innovation potential, but we can do it for a quarter of what it might cost to do the same thing outside. And that's amazing for us. It's amazing for the world as well.
Well, fantastic. This was a lovely conversation. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Srikanth.
Thank you.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. We hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.